Hi, I'm Kristyn Burtt for Red Carpet Report. Tonight we're at FIDM for the opening of the 11th Annual Outstanding Art of Television Costume Design. All right, Nick, you're going to take us through kind of like the best of the best. Actually, everything here is the best.
Everything is the best.
What am I talking about?
Let's be diplomatic. Yeah, everything is fabulous.
We've talked to the nominees, so show us some of the highlights of things we haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay. First of all, here we are, FIDM Museum, 11th Annual Art of Costume Exhibition for Television right here at FIDM. And some of the highlights, I mean, they're all highlights, but some of the highlights, we've got The Crown. Michelle Clapton, costume designer, nominated for Outstanding Costume for Period Fantasy. I mean, it's Queen Elizabeth we're talking about. When you enter the exhibition here, you walk in and you see it. It's Queen Elizabeth. Well, at the time she was Princess Elizabeth. It's her wedding gown when she got married to Prince Philip of Greece. Right, who became
so
the
gorgeous.
Duke of Edinburgh. Gorgeous. Now, the original gown was designed by Norman Hartnell, who's a British designer, and it took 10,000 pearls from the U.S. in the original gown. Now, this gown, it took 6 people, 6 to 7 weeks to create the train, just the train. The top bodice part, it took 3 weeks to embroider the top section of that gown. We also have some crowns as well, because, of course, it's the crown.
Of course.
Hello. Okay. We also have a lot of the gowns that you see, Princess Margaret, which she was the fashionista. You know, she was Queen Elizabeth's sister, but she was more the fashion savvy. So here we have the gown right here. This is the wedding gown.
I love this.
Okay? So this is what we're talking about. All the beads. See that top section? It took 3 weeks to finish that top section. Now this is silk satin, and originally Princess Elizabeth, she had to pay for this with clothing coupons because it was World War II, post-World War II, and you had to ration. You couldn't be extravagant, and everybody was buying clothing with clothing coupons, so she had to buy this purchase, you know, this gown basically using clothing coupons. And then we also have here Princess Margaret. She's the fashion diva, so consider it. She was kind of like the Kim Kardashian of the time.
That's interesting.
Yes, a little more elegant. Let's just say
a little bit more covered up.
Yeah, a little more covered up. But she was the fashion. She was always attending the front row of all the fashion shows of Dior. So she was really the fashion savvy one. So you see her with the prince here. So it's very fabulous and very great. Now another highlight. Come on, come
way.
Yeah,
this way.
Now, this is around the same period time that we have here. This is the collection, which is an Amazon Prime show, and it's based on the Dior new look of 1947, Christian Dior, which just stunned the world. Because again, we're coming off of World War II, and everybody was dressed very modestly, and you couldn't wear gowns that took a lot of fabric. And all of a sudden, Dior had these gowns that took 70 meters, 70 yards of fabric. Well, this is based on the Christian Dior collection, but it's really not Christian Dior. But it's that time.
Inspired by.
Inspired by. So it's a lot of fashion. The costume designers, they're from Paris, Chatoun and Fab. And so they made all these gorgeous costumes, 1,200 costumes for the show. But in particularly, these 30 fantasy gowns. It took them a long time, over 6 weeks to make these 30 fantasy gowns, handmade, and they have to be properly made in the time of haute couture. So there's little details that you see. It's hand pleated. All the stripes miter, and that's a term of they have to match. So you notice this gown. Come around so you can see. Look, 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 look. See? Look at the bodice. See how the stripes match? But they match there, and then they match all in the skirt. They match down there at the hem. Now that is a lot. And it's not done anymore because it wastes time, it wastes fabric, it's too costly. A dress like this would probably retail about $30,000 to $40,000.
That's incredible.
Because of all that work.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the labor, it's not the fabric or anything like that.
Right, no, it's the labor. And then here's another thing, look. I don't know if you notice, see that little stitching right there?
I can see it, yeah.
You can see it? That's the hem. The hem comes up all the way to there. And they did that to give that skirt structure, but it also is a sign of I can waste fabric.
Ooh.
Look at the hem of your dresses. Trust me, they don't have a 10-inch hem like that.
No, they're short.
No, they're short because you can't waste fabric. But at the time, you know, you could do it, especially with haute couture, with this kind of dressmaking.
This was the extravagance.
Yeah, this was the extravagance.
I love this red dress too. You know, across the room, you're just drawn to it.
Right, just drawn to it. And if you see the show, it's very iconic in the show because there's a scene where the model is getting photographed. And it's a famous scene that happened in Paris, and it was staged. I think it was either Vogue or Harper's Bazaar, and where they had the model just twirl around, and there are these village, sort of fruit vendors, and they started like ripping the dress off of her.
Fantastic.
I know.
It's delicious.
I know. It's a delicious gown. Delicious dress. Another great red
I love
outfit,
red. I'm in.
Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, this is so iconic already.
So iconic already.
Is everyone going like this for Halloween? Tell me.
Oh, hello.
Right?
I mean, yes. Yeah, you have to. Right, exactly. And we have it right there. Anne Crabtree is the costume designer for Handmaid's Tale. Now, I have a little bit of dish, a little tidbit with this. Originally, in the Margaret Atwood's novel, 1985, she talked about these handmaids. It's very special to have the colors. So the colors are very important for Handmaid's Tale. You've got the black for the commanders, you've got the red for the handmaids, and you've got the teal blue for, the handmaids, the commanders' wives. Yeah, the wives. And so the color is very important. Now, the costume designer was influenced by, she saw a priest in the Duomo in Milan walking, and she sketched him. She sketched him because she was fascinated by his robe and the way that he floated through the church, the Duomo, as a bell. He'd look like a bell. So when you look at the show, notice how when there are scenes of the handmaids and they're kicking the dress, they sort of kind of look like, think of a priest walking through the Duomo, And the color red is important because it wanted to reference to lifeblood, And then we've got, of course, this.
Yes.
That hat.
It's like the blinders on.
The blinders. Well, that's funny you said that because Margaret Atwood, the writer, novelist, in the book, she wanted to describe that as sort of something to prevent the handmaids from talking to each other, But to the costume designer, it became almost like a poetic baseball cap.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
Not cool to wear, but a cool idea.
Yeah, a cool idea. But there are so many costumes that we have here. Another one that I love here in this section is the Get Down. Let's look at this.
Let's go. I loved this show, and I wish more people had seen it because it was so colorful, from the music to the dance to the wardrobe.
The music was really important. I mean, the show is about 1970s Bronx, late 1970s, and the emergence of hip hop, and it's Baz Luhrmann,
which is amazing.
So, and he did a lot of research. In fact, he gave the costume designer 10 years worth of research, including who was mayor in New York at the time, who are the DJs, who are the fashion designers, all of that. And so she took all that inspiration because she wanted to really make it be true to that time. Mm-hmm. She also worked with Grandmaster Flash.
Of course, hello. Yeah. I mean, he's the granddaddy, the founder of that entire lifestyle.
Of all of it. In fact, she went to the Met with him. And she said that Grandmaster Flash taught her the ABCs of fashion when it came to this particular era in the late 70s. She also worked with Lady Pink, who is the first lady of graffiti art. And in fact, she custom designed a jacket, a vest, that Jaden Smith wore on the show, and we have it right here. And let me tell you, it's the only one in the world. And it's right here.
The buttons.
Right here. And we've got the print right here. You see the graffiti the Lady Pink did.
That's so cool.
Right there.
It's priceless.
Yeah, it's priceless. Jaden Pink wore it. But everything is done. For the principals, a lot of it is custom made. A lot of it is custom made. She collaborated with Puma, a lot of the sneaker companies to get it right. We have a fabulous denim suit. She made that. It was custom made by the tailors in the costume wardrobe department. She said she sketched up. She stayed up until 3 a.m. sketching it. But it still has that vibe, that 70s vibe. You have to get it right. I always say costume designers, their job is to give second skin to the actors, to allow them to play the character. And if the clothing almost disappears, then they've done their job because it just becomes natural.
Yeah, you're like, this is exactly what they would have worn, and then they just got up and got dressed, and out they went.
Right. Like, you don't question. You just say, yeah, she's the secretary, Or, yeah, she's a handmaid's, you can, you don't
brings you into that world.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are you seeing? Because television has had such an explosion of incredible stories. We're seeing so many different time periods.
Right.
I've got to imagine that for people like you here in the industry, it's just mind-blowing, honestly.
No, I love it. I love fashion design. I'm a fashion designer first, but I'm always into fashion. And to see so much fashion and in the costuming, in the wardrobe, whether it's contemporary or period, on TV is amazing. I mean, to me, it makes me so happy. I love it. I love it.
Do you feel like Mad Men and Janie Bryant really ushered part of this era in, don't you think, with what she created?
So I think a lot of it, yeah, I think you have to give credit to that for sure. And I really hope that especially costume designers and the fashion, the clothing, really, I think it takes center stage, you know, because you have to think about it. Clothing and costumes on TV, that's prime real estate. You know, and so it really has to take center stage, and I hope that producers, directors, and also the viewers can really take more respect for this art and costuming and how it is an integral part of the TV and movie making business.
Absolutely. If someone wants to come down and see this exhibit, how long is it here for?
Oh my gosh, well, we have it here for many months, and the best part about it, it's free.
We love that word, free.
You can come here, and you can come here. It's only closed on Sundays and Mondays. So Tuesday through Saturday, come right here. It's free. You can see over 100 costumes from 25 different TV shows, 9 Emmy nominees for Outstanding Costume Design. This is it, Costume Heaven.
Thank you so much, Nick. Appreciate all your expertise here.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and in the comments below, let us know what you think the best dressed show on TV is.